Good morning or afternoon, depending on what time you are watching this. Today we are talking about long division of polynomials, which is the method we use to divide a polynomial by a binomial. So previously, if we were dividing a polynomial, meaning more than one term, by a monomial, a single term, such as this, what we could do is split each piece up into an individual fraction and complete each division operation individually. So for this one, what we would get, m to the fourth divided by negative m would give us negative m cubed. 2m squared divided by negative m would give us minus 2m. And so that should have been negative m. Negative divided by negative would give us a positive. And that would be our result. Now, when we are dividing by a binomial, meaning if we had minus m plus or minus a constant, we have to do what's called long division. And long division in polynomials is similar to how you would use long division in numbers. So I'm going to really make you think back to like elementary school when you were learning long division. So remember, you've got your dividend and your divisor. So I'm going to give you a second to make a guess which is which. So 24, that would be your divisor. And the number under the arch, whatever you want to call it, is your dividend. Okay, so remember the process for long division. I'm dividing 5,493 by 24. Well, 24 can't go into 5, but it can go into 54, and it does that 2 times. 2 times 24 gives us 48. And then the difference between 54 and 48 is 6. Then I bring down the next number in the lineup, and that gets me 69. 24 goes into 69 2 times as well. So that's also 48, which gives us a remainder of 21. I bring down my last digit, and 213. 24 goes into that 8 times. 8 times 24 is 192. And what I end up with left is 21. Now, I have no more numbers left to pull, and 21 is less than my divisor, 24, so this becomes my remainder. And so our answer is 228, and then a fraction of your remainder over your divisor. So that would be 228 and 21 24ths, which simplifies to 228 and 7/8. So we are going to follow those exact same steps to divide polynomials by binomials. So when we're doing this, we're going to follow these 5 steps. We're going to write the dividend and divisor in descending power, meaning like x cubed, x squared, x, and so on. Insert placeholders for missing powers. So if we don't have an x squared in our polynomial, but we have x cubed, we're going to write in a 0 in place of where that x squared would have been. And then we're going to do long division the same way we would for integers, and then we repeat until the degree of the remainder is less than the divisor, kind of like what we did on that example too. 21 was less than 24, and that's when we know we stop. And then we can always check our answer by multiplying. So let's jump into this first example for long division and polynomials, 3. So it's already written for us. Our dividend is 5x cubed plus 6x squared minus 17x plus 20. And our divisor is x plus 3. So what we're always going to be looking at first is the x term in our divisor. So x and 5x cubed. What do I have to multiply x by to get 5x cubed? Well, that would be 5x squared. And what I'm going to be doing is as I'm dividing, I'm going to be putting them in the same power above. So because it's 5x squared, I'm going to write that above the 6x squared. So 5x squared times x is what I need to get 5x cubed. So same as regular long division. That is how many times it goes in, and now I'm going to multiply that number by the divisor. So that's going to give me 5x cubed plus 15x squared. Okay, now we're going to subtract that from these first 2 terms in our dividend. And so remember, that means you're distributing a negative, so these are going to cancel, and we're going to get 6x squared minus 15x squared. That's going to give us leftover negative 9x squared. And then I'm going to bring down that minus 17x. Okay, so now looking here, again, x and negative 9x squared. What do I need to multiply x by to get negative 9x squared? That would be minus 9x. So now I'm going to multiply minus 9x on the x and the plus 3 to get minus 9x squared and minus 27x. So we're going to subtract that binomial, which means when you're distributing the negative, they're going to become positive. So your 9x squareds cancel, and now we have negative 17x plus 27x, which leaves us with leftover 10x. Then I'm going to bring down my next piece of my dividend, which is 20. And again, looking in the front, x and 10x. I need to multiply x by 10 to get 10x. So I'm going to multiply the 10 by the x and the 3. So we get 10x plus 30. And then once again, I'm going to subtract. So that's going to distribute that negative. So your x's cancel. And then I have 20 minus 30, which gives us negative 10. Now, the degree on negative 10 and x. This would have a degree of 0 because there's no x in the term, which means the degree of the remainder is less than the divisor. So we're done. And this becomes our remainder. So the final answer is everything on top of our division and then our remainder over the dividend. So 5x squared minus 9x plus 10 minus 10 over x plus 3. So it's the exact same process as what we did on example 2 with the integers, but we're doing it with terms and x's. Okay? So let's do this again. We're going to go on to the back side and looking at example 4. We've got x to the 5th divided by x squared plus 1. So this is our divisor. This is our dividend. And remember, the dividend goes inside the house. So x to the 5th divided by x squared plus 1. Now again, we need placeholders for all of those other things. So 0x to the 4th, 0x cubed, 0x squared, 0x, and 0, because it has no other powers in it. Okay. So x to the 5th and x squared. I need to multiply that by x cubed. So when I multiply that by x cubed into the x squared and the 1, that's going to get me x to the 5th plus x cubed. So when I subtract that, the x to the 5ths are going to cancel, and I'm left with negative x cubed. So I'm going to bring something down, but I don't have anything, so it's just going to be 0. Now I'm looking at x squared and negative x cubed. I would have to multiply x squared by negative x to get negative x cubed. Okay, so negative x times x squared and 1 gives me negative x cubed minus x. So when we subtract that binomial, remember negative times negative becomes positive, so our x squareds are going to cancel and my remainder is x. Now, what I have left over is x to the 1st power, and my divisor is x squared. This degree is smaller than my divisor, which means I'm done, and this is my remainder. So our result is x cubed minus x plus x over x squared plus 1. All right, on to number 5. So on top is our dividend, on the bottom is our divisor. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this in our little house for long division. And again, we have to put placeholders in for powers that are not there. So I've got x to the 4th minus 4x cubed. I don't have a term for x squared, so we're going to put in 0, then x and plus 10. All right, so x to the 4th and x. X needs to be multiplied by x cubed to get x to the 4th power. So that's going to give me, when I multiply by the x and the negative 2, x to the 4th and minus 2x cubed. Subtracting that, you remember you distribute the negative, so that's going to cancel. This becomes addition. So we're left with negative 2x cubed, and we're going to bring down the 0. I need to multiply x by minus 2x squared to get minus 2x cubed. Then I'm going to multiply again and subtract. So those cancel, and we're left with negative 4x squared. Bring down the x. I have to multiply x by minus 4x to get negative 4x squared. And then we can multiply again. I'm going to subtract. That cancels. And then I have x minus 8x, which gives us negative 7x. And then I'm going to bring down that last part of my dividend, which is 10. X, excuse me for that bell. X has to be multiplied by negative 7 to get 7x. So we get negative 7x plus 14. We're going to subtract that. So those cancel, and then I have 10 minus 14, which gives us negative 4. The degree of 4 is less than my divisor, so this becomes our remainder. And so our final answer is x cubed minus 2x squared minus 4x minus 7 minus 4 over our divisor. And last but not least, on to example 3. We have 5x cubed plus 12 over x, divided by x plus 5. So this is our dividend, and this is our divisor. So the dividend is what goes inside the house. And again, we need to put placeholders for powers that we don't have. And we're dividing by x plus 5. So what do I need to multiply x by to get 5x cubed? That would be 5x squared. Going to multiply that on the x and the 5. And subtract. So our 5x squareds cancel, and we end up with minus 25x squared. Bring down the 0. What do I need to multiply x by to get negative 25x squared? Well, that would be minus 25x. Again, multiply on both. And that should be minus 125x. Again, we're going to subtract, and so these both become addition, which means the 25x squareds cancel. And 125x is what we're left over with. Bring down the 12. So I need to multiply x by 125 to get 125x. And I'm running out of room here. But the last thing we're going to need to do is subtract this. So the 125's cancel, and we are left with negative 613. That degree is less than my divisor, so this is our remainder. And so our final result is 5x squared minus 25x plus 125 minus 613 over our divisor, which is x plus 5. Now, step 5 on the long division was that you can check your answer by multiplying, and I don't have enough time in the video. I'm limited to 15 minutes to work them through completely. So what I'm going to do is work them out on paper and then put it under the camera so you can pause and look at the work for checking that we have divided correctly. Here is step 5 where you are checking your work. What I have done on each of these is multiplied our divisor by our final answer. And so here is the work for 3 and 4. If you'd like to pause it and take a closer look, and you can see that in the end we get our dividend. And then here is the same for examples 5 and 6.